Hey everybody, JCB here at the Awesomeness, and you're watching the Awesomeness. 10 years ago, I uploaded a video that changed the trajectory of this channel forever. Top 10 tips for visiting Six Flags Magic Mountain. As of this recording, it has almost 190,000 views, and is by far the most viewed video on my entire channel. The problem is, 10 years on, it's not as relevant as it used to be. In fact, some of the things mentioned in that video don't even exist anymore. So just like Six Flags updated Colossus to Twisted Colossus, it's time to revamp and reimagine my top 10 tips for visiting Six Flags Magic Mountain. Number 10, buy the season pass. This one hasn't changed. Even though the season pass is more expensive than ever, it's still a great deal. In 2025, there are essentially 3 tiers of season pass: silver, gold, and prestige. Obviously, the higher the tier, the more benefits and the higher the price. The gold and prestige passes are also offered as membership options, which means you can get a season pass to Six Flags Magic Mountain for as little as $8 a month. Silver is the cheapest pass. It's $79 for the year, and granted, it only gives you entrance to Six Flags Magic Mountain, which means no water park, but it does give you free parking and entrance to Fright Fest and Holiday in the Park. Now, if you've ever been to Six Flags Magic Mountain during Fright Fest or Holiday in the Park, you might think it's kind of weird to include this as like an add-on benefit of this season pass, since if you have a day pass and you go to Magic Mountain on the days that they're doing Holiday in the Park or Fright Fest, you automatically also have entrance to those 2 events, so it's a little weird. However, if you check the price of day tickets for those days, you'll notice it is more expensive to go during Fright Fest and Holiday in the Park. Speaking of day tickets, the other thing that makes the season pass such a great deal is that not only do you get to go every single day the park is open with no blackouts, but the cheapest day ticket is $49. Parking as of this recording is $35, so you can either pay a minimum price of $84 for a one-day visit, or you can pay a guaranteed price of $79 for the year and have the option to come back as many times as you want. Gee, I wonder what the smart thing to do is. With the Gold Pass, you get all that stuff from the Silver Pass, plus access to Hurricane Harbor and the 40 other Six Flags parks in the chain nationwide. You also get 1 free Bring a Friend ticket that you can use any day you want. The Prestige Pass gets you all of that, plus free preferred parking and use of the VIP entrance, which we'll talk about in a bit. By the way, this video is not sponsored. I'm not at all associated with Six Flags as a company or anything like that. In fact, over the years, I've had my critiques of them. They probably don't like me very much. What the hell was that? We don't do bonus tips on this channel. I said bonus tip. Okay. What the hell is happening? Regardless of whether or not you get the season pass, you should definitely download the Six Flags app. It not only allows you to use your season pass directly from your phone, but it gives you a digital map, directions to rides and food. It allows you to place mobile orders, check wait times, and take advantage of all of your season pass benefits. Sort of. There's a caveat that we'll get to in a little bit. Number 9, buy the souvenir bottle. So far, this video is exactly the same, which is kind of a testament to how great that original video was, but information has changed, so let's talk souvenir bottles. There are 2 tiers, as you can see here. The all-day bottle grants you refills for the day of your visit, which, if it's a hot day, is well worth the $20 price tag, since it pays for itself with about 3 refills. And when you come back in the future, you'll just pay $7 for another whole day of free refills, which is just a little more than the cost of a large drink. The all-season cup gives you unlimited refills with no additional charge every time you visit, but it does cost a little more upfront at $37. Personally, I still miss these metal cups they discontinued a little while ago. Since we go several times a year and try to visit a new park every single year, we tend to get the all-season cup. If you buy a gold pass or higher, you can also visit other Six Flags parks, and your bottle will work there as well. I should mention that as of this recording, the park no longer has those 100 flavors Coca-Cola machines that they used to have, but they do have more regular old refill stations positioned throughout the park. Number 8, don't carry so much stuff. Now the list is starting to diverge a little bit. In the old video, number 8 was to avoid Bring a Friend days. These were specific days of the year that the park would allow pass holders to bring a friend for free. As a result, the park would be super busy on those days. So they got rid of the Bring a Friend days entirely, and now higher level season passes have Bring a Friend tickets, which you can use any day of the year. You don't have to wait for a specific day to bring your friends, which helps spread out the crowds a little bit. It's a better system overall. But since that tip no longer applies about the Bring a Friend days, I got a whole brand new sensible tip for you, which is to just stop carrying so much stuff with you at the park. We've all been there. We want to be prepared, but we end up overpacking for the day. And suddenly, we regret having to carry all this stuff up a freaking mountain. Whether you go to Magic Mountain or Hurricane Harbor, I highly recommend getting a locker. Not only does it make your entire day more comfortable, but it also gives you and your party a unique place to meet up at the end of the day. Big groups always plan to meet up at the Six Flags Plaza fountain. Don't get lost in that nonsense. Trying to find your friend in a sea of high school kids on a field trip is not fun. So just meet at the locker. Plus, you can choose exactly which unused locker you want to rent by scanning the QR code on the door and paying for it online. Of course, this only works at Hurricane Harbor right now, but I'm hoping to bring it to Magic Mountain in the near future. Also, if you have a Prestige Pass or one of the higher Legacy Passes like me, you can pre-book a spot at Hurricane Harbor that is for VIP members only.
Bonus tip!
What? No, I said we're not doing bonus tips.
I said bonus tip!
Okay, fine. If you find yourself at one of the stores and you see that really cool piece of merchandise you just have to have, but you don't want to carry it around all day, just request to pick it up at the Looney Tunes store at the end of the day. The shop you buy it from will write you up a little ticket, mark it as paid, and then transport it to the Looney Tunes store at the front of the park. At the end of the day, you just present your ticket, pick up your item, go home. It's actually pretty simple and straightforward most of the time. You definitely don't want to forget about it though, and that also goes for your stuff in your locker. I've played that game. It is not fun trying to get your stuff back the next day. Number 7, bring all the stuff. I know I just did an entire tip about not bringing all of your stuff with you to Six Flags Magic Mountain, but I only did that because I knew this tip was coming up very soon. I know, it's weird. I write scripts for these videos, crazy. The old number 7 was to get the Hurricane Harbor Flash Pass. I really missed the Hurricane Harbor Flash Pass. It was this rubber wristwatch you could boop to the signs of the slide you wanted to ride, and then while a countdown timer was like ticking down, you can go get food, or you can get in the wave pool, or you can get in the lazy river, or go on other slides you wanted to go on, and when your time came, you could just get right onto that slide that you had booped for. It was really great, and I wish they'd bring it back. And right now, Hurricane Harbor doesn't have any kind of a Flash Pass at all, as far as I'm aware, so I really wish they'd bring it back or do something with it. But since that tip no longer applies at all, here are the important things you should bring with you to Magic Mountain. A lightweight backpack, a hat, sunglasses, some comfortable shoes, sunscreen, chapstick, and a reusable water bottle. The park has installed these bottle refill stations all over the place, so if you have an insulated metal water bottle, you can ask for ice at any of the drink stands, fill it with water at these stations, and it will keep you cool all day. Additionally, if you have a gold pass or higher, or you're just planning to visit Hurricane Harbor in the summer, here are some more items you should definitely consider bringing. A swimsuit, a waterproof phone case, water shoes, beach towels. And maybe you don't need all this stuff, but if you bring the stuff that you do need, you'll definitely have a better experience at the park. And while we're on the subject of bringing things, here's some things you should definitely not bring, which include food, drinks, weapons, professional camera gear, selfie sticks, any kind of drugs would be a definite no-no. They definitely won't let you bring this at the park, so don't even bother. Oh, one more thing. What? No bonus tip for this one? No? Whatever. Don't try to bring your camera or pull out your phone while you're on the ride. I know it's really tempting to try to get that lift hill selfie, but it's really goddamn annoying when they have to stop the entire fucking ride and escort you out of the park with the police because you just couldn't help yourself. Grow up. Like, that's my tip. Grow the fuck up. Like, get off your goddamn phone. You're out in the real world. Enjoy it. Stop trying to post everything to fucking Instagram. Number 6, plan your meals. The old number 6 was to bring your own lunch, and that's still a valid tip if you want to save some money, but it wastes a ton of time. At best, you're going to spend about an hour getting out of the park to the picnic area, eating your food, and then getting back into the park. It's just a huge waste of time. And that old tip was more about the quality of the food at the time at the park. 10 years later, the food is a lot better. Not amazing by any means, but a lot of the food options are a lot higher in quality and a lot more flavorful than they used to be. That said, some places are definitely better than others, so here are a few of my favorites. Twin Charge Tacos, Full Throttle Sports Bar, and my wife's favorite is Aso Clubs. Twisted Witches was on my list, but last time I went it was actually closed down, and it seems like they were remodeling it to be something else, so we'll have to wait and see what that is. One thing you'll notice though, is that all the places I mentioned offer something unique and specific to that location. You can also use the app to place mobile orders, which speeds things up if you want to eat at one of the few places that offer mobile ordering the day you go. And if you plan on going a lot this season, you should check out the dining pass options. Food at a theme park is expensive, so it won't take long before it pays for itself. But the real tip here is to pick out what you want to eat in advance, and then figure out which place at the park sells that item and has the shortest wait time. Because if you're getting a cheeseburger, fries, pizza, or chicken tenders, there are dozens of places in the park that sell those exact same items, and they are the exact same items. So just pick the one that has the shortest line and get it from there. Number 5, plan ahead. The old number 5 was to use the one good bathroom at the park, which was located behind the Full Throttle Sports Bar, like on the way into Looney Tune Land from the back entrance. But over the last 10 years, they've actually remodeled and redone all of the bathrooms, and so they're all pretty decent and clean now. The one exception is still the restrooms at the front of the park that are like so small and run down, I don't even know why they still exist. So with most of the restrooms basically fine now, my new number 5 is to just plan ahead. Before I go to any new theme park, I always visit the website and look at the list of rides. I then make a list on my phone of all the rides I want to go on and roughly where they are in the park. If I have a lot of time, I'll look at the map for the park and choose a path through which I plan to circumnavigate the property, listing the rides I want to go on in the order I am likely to encounter them in. And if you don't have a season pass, this is also a great time to buy your tickets in advance, as they're usually a bit cheaper when you buy them in advance. You can also take this chance to prepay for parking, so you don't have to do that at the gate and hold up the entire line. Checking the weather in advance is also a great idea. I cannot tell you how many times I've shown up in jeans only to feel like I'm melting. There are also sites like isitpacked.com that try to track how busy the theme park is the day you go, though I found these sites to be a little unreliable. Regardless, if you arrive with a plan, you'll have a much better time at the park. Number 4, avoid major holidays. The old number 4 was all about Superman the Ride, planning for the lines and how to navigate around the very noisy section of the track that blasted overhead, but that ride is dead now. So let's talk holidays instead. A couple years ago, back when Six Flags Magic Mountain was open 365 days a year, I started a new series on this channel called Is It Busy?, in which I visited the park on major holidays, and the results were basically what you'd expect. Major holidays like Halloween and Christmas Eve, really the whole Fright Fest and Holiday in the Park events, were really busy. Labor Day weekend was also usually really busy. 4th of July is really busy because they have like a fireworks show. The smaller holidays like President's Day aren't too bad. Mother's Day and Father's Day were of course terrible. With a few exceptions, if school is out and the banks are closed, the park is probably busy, so just beware. Number 3, learn the layout of the park. The old number 3 was to use the Orient Express, which has actually been renamed. Twice, actually. First, it was renamed to the Helpful Honda Express in a branding deal with Honda, and then it was renamed to the Magic Mover, which is what they still call it to this day. It's basically a funicular. It's a cart that goes up the hill that is Magic Mountain. For now, the Magic Mover is the only people mover at the park. Don't get me wrong, we have a train ride, but it just goes in a circle at the corner of the park. More broadly though, this tip is all about knowing the different ways you can get up and down and around the mountain. Because the park is basically a big circle. Sure, there are little outcrops that lead to places like DC Universe and the Screampunk District, but basically it's a circle. You keep walking in any one direction, you'll end up back at the front of the park, with the exception of the different ways up and down the mountain. The steep path is by the outdoor food court near Gold Rusher, and this used to be the fastest way to get to Superman and Ninja. Now Ninja is the only ride up there, but it's also a really long way to get to Tatsu. I avoid this path unless I'm looking for a really quick way down the mountain, and for some reason I want to avoid like the underground area. Walking up this way is not recommended. It's very, very steep, very difficult. Walking down is not too bad. That said, the fastest way up and down the mountain is the path that is over by Apocalypse in the underground section. This path is much less steep and takes you right to Tatsu and Roaring Rapids. Both of those paths will eventually lead you here, where you'll have 2 more choices. Continue on the path you're on, and you'll circle around and end up right by Viper. Take the left turn, and you'll bypass the scenic route, pass the entrance to X2, and cut about 5 minutes of walking from your path. Also, if the park's map is too cartoony for you to be able to figure things out, you can always go on Google and look at their satellite images. They tend to be a little clearer, a little bit easier to follow. On hot days, be sure to stop into the arcades and the shops, and if they ever decide to reopen it, the Gearworks Theater to escape the heat and rest for a bit in an air-conditioned environment. I don't know why, but it seems like Magic Mountain is opposed to things like misters and shade and trees, and it makes it one of the hottest theme parks I have ever been to. So if anyone from Magic Mountain is listening, please add fans, misters, shade structures, trees. I'm a shareholder, albeit a small one. I'm no Travis Kelce over here. But still, I'm tired of hearing on earnings calls that attendance is down because of extreme weather conditions. Like, you're not doing anything to solve the problem. At this point, I wish the underground part of the park was literally underground, because at least then we'd have some shade. Number 2, use your benefits and points. On the old list, I mentioned that you should bring your Discover card because they give you like special discounts on things, and it'll let you use the Discover card entrance, which was a much shorter line to get into the park than the normal lines. But that deal with Discover card is no longer a thing. However, season passes of certain tiers can earn points for every purchase, which they can be used to buy things like snacks. They can also get discounts on merchandise and food, tickets for rides like the Sky Coaster. Of course, finding where to redeem these points is a little bit of a different story. For some reason, you can't get to this page from the app. There's not even like a link in the app that takes you to the site. You just have to know that this site exists and go there, which is kind of a pain because not only is that the website where all of your points are, where you can get your rewards, but that's also where your Bring a Friend tickets are. And if you're a higher tier pass holder and you want to redeem your Skip the Line passes, you have to go to a completely separate website, SFMMFP.com. I don't know why things are split up this way other than to purposely make it hard for you to take advantage of your benefits maybe. At least the actual like Skip the Line passes can be accessed from a link within the app to the other website, but if you want to try to use everything that you're entitled to use, you have to basically go to 3 separate sections. The Six Flags app to access your season pass at the gate, mypass.sixflags.com to redeem rewards and use benefits like your Bring a Friend days, and either click the link in the app or visit sfmmfp.com to purchase or redeem free Skip the Line passes.
Biggity bonus tipperino.
God damn it, I forgot the rule of 3s. Alright, fine, but this is the last bonus tip. If you want to get the most out of your experience at the park, you really got to get there early. If you have a higher tier season pass, you can get preferred parking, which gets you really close to the park, but is offered on a first come, first served basis. If you want to take advantage of the members only entrance and skip the long entry lines, you really need to get there before noon. Plus, if you're there right when the rope drops, you can race to your favorite ride and get right on it without having to wait in line. Although, I will say that sometimes the rides do testing for a few hours before they're actually open to the public. So sometimes you'll race right to your favorite ride only to find out it's not going to open until like 11 or 12. And sometimes in the winter, the rides won't actually start operating until it's safe to do so when the temperature reaches a certain number. So just be aware of that. Additionally, the snack shops all start to open at 11 a.m. So if you want a fresh, tasty churro, get there early and get in line when they open. Now it's time to get to number 1. You know, my original number 1 was basically to avoid the ride Viper. I complained that it was really rough to the point of being painful, that the ride is highly overrated. I even showed a bunch of online reviews of other people talking crap about the ride and how bad it hurts. But as the years have gone on and I've been to other theme parks around the country, I've ridden a lot of rough rides, many of them by the same manufacturer as Viper. I like to think that this experience has allowed my taste in roller coasters to expand and evolve. The different experiences that different coasters offer has really made me rethink what makes a coaster great and what makes a coaster not so great. And looking back on that first video and having ridden Viper again recently, maybe I was too hard on this ride. I'm just kidding. Fuck Viper. It is by far the worst piece of shit, waste of space at this park or any other park I've ever been to. Fuck Viper. It is a monument of failure. It is a torture device. So excruciatingly painful that if you rethemed this ride after the Saw franchise, people would be offended for the Saw franchise. In fact, just for fun, let's read some more reviews of real people who have been on this ride. Not sure why this ride exists. I was nice enough to visit Viper, but instead of a thank you, it tried to break my neck repeatedly. This is the only coaster I've ever ridden that I truly believe deserves the 1-star rating, and that's coming from someone who rode Green Lantern's first flight. What the actual F? This ride is just pain, pain, pain. Terrible old aero looper. Decent inversions, but head-banging, pointless, and should be torn down. Also, my brother got a concussion on it. This ride is great if you're a fan of concussions. The whole time I was on this ride, I was yelling in pain. It was not enjoyable, and I had to go take Tylenol afterwards. My neck was forced downward a few times during the ride, and I felt like my spine was at risk. The coaster was not smooth at all, and resulted in my head banging back and forth between the harness. The results do not get any better. I have been stuck in bed most of the day, and the cartilage on my right ear is bruised, which I didn't know was possible until the Viper. Do not recommend, does not seem safe for small children. So yeah, after all of these years, my number 1 tip for visiting Six Flags Magic Mountain is still, fuck Viper. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. If you've been with me since the first version of this video, let me know down below. And as always, keep being awesome. At all, there's no side-to-side action. You don't sway, you don't bank, you don't corkscrew. There's no side here. There's no winding here. They don't even bother posting a video of this ride on their YouTube page, but they do have a video promoting a concert by Jacob Sartorius.
Internet sensation Jacob Sartorius, July 21st.
So let's not worry about tomorrow.
Cool.